One of the first signs of this transition is the feeling of being different from the world around you. Suddenly, the things that once interested you no longer make sense. Shallow conversations feel exhausting. Places you used to enjoy begin to lose their charm. It feels like your vibration has shifted, and now you perceive everything with much more sensitivity and depth. You begin to notice automatic behaviors in others, and even in yourself. At first, this can be uncomfortable, as if you're drifting away from the world. But in truth, you're reconnecting with your essence. This transformation isn't something you logically choose. It happens naturally, as if it's an inevitable evolution of your consciousness. It's like a veil has lifted, and now you see what once went unnoticed. This can bring a sense of loneliness at first, but also a profound clarity, almost as if your soul is saying, now you're finally starting to remember who you are. If this resonates with you so far, go ahead and give this video a like. It really helps the channel grow and reach more people who are also going through this awakening. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future content, and tell me in the comments, have you ever felt this strange sense of being out of place, like something deep inside you is shifting? I'd love to read your experiences and respond. One of the most powerful changes you'll notice as you begin to vibrate in the fifth dimension is how you perceive reality. It's like suddenly you begin to question everything you once accepted as absolute truth. Fears that followed you for years start to lose their grip. That constant inner pressure to be someone, to succeed, to get there, begins to dissolve. And in its place, a strange peace is born, a kind of tranquility that doesn't depend on anything external. You begin to realize that what once controlled you, like other people's opinions, fear of the future, or the need to prove something, no longer holds the same power. Awakening to your true self, living in the fifth dimension. As you shift into a higher state of consciousness, you no longer feel the need to chase external validation. You begin to detach from the roles you've played, like being the professional, the partner, or the child, and start discovering who you truly are beneath all of it. Life still goes on, but your relationship with it changes. Ambitions no longer come from fear or lack, but from a deeper sense of inner peace. You realize you're not here to prove anything. You're here to live consciously, to feel, grow, and be your authentic self. One of the clearest signs of this shift is how the past starts losing control over you. Painful memories and emotional wounds lose their grip, not because you forget them, but because you stop identifying with them. You see your journey with more compassion and maturity. True healing comes not from fighting the past, but from accepting it. This brings emotional freedom, forgiveness, and deeper presence. As you align with the fifth dimension, toxic relationships naturally fall away, old cycles close, and you begin to live with soul-level clarity. Living in the fifth dimension, a shift in consciousness. As you awaken to the fifth dimension, life begins to strip away what no longer serves you. It may feel painful at first, but deep down, you sense it's right. You become lighter, more peaceful, and more present. This shift brings true presence, not just a concept, but a lived experience. You stop being trapped in thoughts of the past or future. Simple things gain depth. Nature, silence, breath. You no longer react automatically. You respond with awareness. Time feels different. You stop rushing and start trusting the natural rhythm of life. Even when difficult emotions arise, you stay present instead of running. You begin to truly heal. Most importantly, you stop trying to control everything. You let go, surrender, and begin to flow with life. Challenges still exist, but your relationship with them transforms. You're no longer asleep in the unconscious stream. You are awake, conscious, and truly alive. Trusting the flow, awakening to the fifth dimension. As you awaken to the fifth dimension, You begin to trust in a higher purpose working behind the scenes. You no longer need to control every outcome or understand everything logically. Instead, you flow with life, acting with intention, resting when needed, and letting go of the need to force things. You realize that delays, losses, and confusion are often divine redirections. Surrender becomes presence, not passivity. The more you trust, the more life aligns, bringing the right people, opportunities, and clarity. Anxiety fades, replaced by a deep inner trust. This confidence doesn't come from external validation. It rises from within, guided by intuition. You begin making decisions based on feeling rather than fear, and those choices are more aligned, authentic, and peaceful. Though fear and doubt still appear, they no longer control you. You observe, breathe, and turn inward. In silence, the answers come, not always as you expect, but always as you need. And that trust transforms everything. Living with purpose in the fifth dimension, as you awaken, your relationship with people, time, and life changes. You stop reacting impulsively and begin responding with conscious awareness. Even amid chaos, you feel centered and safe inside. Living in the fifth dimension means acting with purpose, intention, and clarity, not from fear or rush. Your actions flow naturally from your intuition, and you no longer feel the need to prove yourself to others. True, success is peace with your path, regardless of external validation. You move forward with courage, free from fear of failure or judgment. Even if results are slow, moving consciously shows you are aligned with your truth. You do less, but with more presence and quality, and the universe responds to the energy you bring. Ultimately, living in the fifth dimension is about being deeply rooted in your authentic self, not lost in fantasies. The fifth dimension is much more than a spiritual concept or an abstract idea. It represents a silent yet powerful revolution happening within every person who chooses to awaken to their true essence. This dimension vibrates at a frequency where unconditional love, unity, and expanded consciousness form the foundation of existence. But to truly understand this reality, one must first let go of old mental frameworks, limiting beliefs, and conditioned patterns that keep us trapped in the third dimension. In the third dimension, the focus is on survival, duality, and identification with the ego, that mental character that believes it is separate from others and the universe. This consciousness is marked by fear, control, competition, and the illusion of separation. Time is perceived as linear, with the past and future creating anxiety, regrets, and expectations. As we begin accessing the fourth dimension, an intermediate world between physical reality and higher planes, we feel the call to expansion. Deep questions arise, interest in spirituality grows, intuition awakens, and there is a sense that there is something beyond what we have always been taught. This is a dimension where time starts to dissolve, and consciousness realizes that past, present, and future can coexist simultaneously. True transformation occurs when we enter the fifth dimension. In this new state, the mind and ego begin to work harmoniously with the soul, and the perception of separation disappears, giving way to an experience of oneness with all that exists. Unconditional love is no longer just an ideal, but a tangible reality. The feeling of disconnection is replaced by profound connection, and each being perceives their unique role within the tapestry of life. One of the most fascinating aspects of the fifth dimension is the perception of time. Unlike the linear time we know, time in the fifth dimension is experienced as an eternal flow, where the past no longer imprisons, the future no longer frightens, and the present is lived with full attention and presence. This means that anxiety about what is to come and attachment to what has passed dissolve, allowing the human being to live fully in the here and now. This presence brings calm and clarity, even amid life's storms. Imagine being in the midst of external chaos, yet finding within yourself a sacred space of peace and balance. This is one of the great blessings of the fifth dimension. You observe situations without being dominated by reactive emotions. You feel, welcome, and respond with wisdom rather than react impulsively. This new way of living also manifests in interpersonal relationships. While in the third dimension, relationships may be based on emotional dependencies, power plays, and expectations. In the fifth dimension, connections are authentic, compassionate, and free. People who do not vibrate at the same frequency naturally drift away, allowing you to cultivate genuine bonds that nourish your soul and encourage your growth. Moreover, living in the fifth dimension means acting with purpose and alignment with the soul. Actions are no longer driven by fear, haste, or the need for external approval. They arise from a deep sense of inner certainty and flow with lightness and ease. You realize you no longer need to prove anything to anyone because true validation comes from within. This surrender does not mean passivity, but rather an active, conscious participation in the flow of life. You learn to listen to your intuition, recognize the universe's signs, and act at the right moment with calm and clear intention. This alignment generates a type of courage that does not freeze in the face of challenges, but moves forward with confidence, even without having all the answers. The process of ascending into the fifth dimension also brings healing to deep emotional wounds. The past ceases to be a prison and becomes a source of learning and compassion. You begin to look at your story with eyes of love and understanding, recognizing that all experiences were part of your path and that now you can free yourself from the pains that once held you captive. This inner healing directly reflects in your relationships and environment. You become a light that inspires and uplifts those around you, creating a ripple effect of collective expansion that impacts entire communities and the planet. The fifth dimension is, therefore, a movement of both individual and collective evolution, a new era born from the sum of personal awakenings. To integrate the fifth dimension into everyday life, it is essential to cultivate practices that strengthen this expanded consciousness. Daily meditation, connection with nature, conscious eating, gratitude, self-care, and presence are powerful tools that help anchor this new frequency in the physical body and emotions. It is also important to remember that each journey is unique. Awakening to the fifth dimension does not follow a rigid pattern. There is no right or wrong, only your path. Honor your time, embrace your doubts, and celebrate every advancement, no matter how small it may seem. Living in the fifth dimension means being connected to something greater, being part of the whole without losing individuality, and acting from the soul rather than just the mind. It is the realization that true freedom, this transformation does not happen overnight. It is gradual, requiring patience, self-compassion, and daily commitment. Yet, as you progress, you experience a lighter, fuller, and more meaningful life. Along this path, you will notice that fear ceases to be the protagonist of your story and gives way to trust, love, and compassion, not only for others, but also for yourself. You become capable of dancing with life's challenges, understanding they are part of growth, not obstacles to be feared. In the fifth dimension, you come to value silence, contemplation, and inner balance. Even amid external chaos, your inner peace remains intact. This emotional and spiritual stability is one of the greatest gifts of awakening. Furthermore, accessing the fifth dimension allows you to connect with universal wisdom, cosmic energy, and your deepest purpose. This connection guides your steps, strengthens your intuition, and makes your journey more fluid and harmonious. It is vital to remember that ascension is not about perfection, but about authenticity. It is about accepting all parts of yourself, including the shadows, and integrating them with love. It is recognizing that light and darkness coexist and both are part of the growth process. So if you feel the call to this journey, know you are not alone. Millions of souls around the planet are awakening to the fifth dimension, and together we are creating a new era of light, peace, and unity. Continue walking with courage, confidence, and love. Celebrate every awakening, every lesson, and every moment of presence, because the best is yet to come, and your light is essential to illuminate this new world.